Neil's story, The Destruction of Love. I grew up in suburban New Zealand in a blended family with 3 older half-brothers and sisters and 2 younger sisters. I was truly a love child and I was deeply loved by both parents. I responded in kind in the first 7 years of my life by being a child who was absolutely full of love. Around 7 years old, things began to change. I realized it was possible to manipulate others to get more attention and affection. I then began to practice this black art, and a whole new vista of opportunities opened up for me. I was particularly interested in getting more attention from my parents, who continued to love me, but were very busy with other matters as well. My father ran a business and a school, so was always in demand, and my mother had my 5 siblings and me to care for. At this time I was aware of the way that other people were also manipulating me, and of course how they manipulated each other. Particularly, I was aware of how this was being done by the girls at school, and also to an extent by my sisters at home as well. I have to say that I was very interested in the girls at school, and this interest, which included me trying very hard to get their approval, was to follow me for much of my life. I had teenage crushes like most boys. However, one was particularly intense and began in my 16th year and went on to my final year at high school in my 19th year. My skills at manipulation were getting to be well developed by this time. To justify this manipulation, I had to deceive myself and to cover up my bad behavior. All of this led to a pronounced drop in my ability to observe myself truthfully. Rather, I was cleverly using filters to observe myself. The needs of my then girlfriend were as a result barely considered, a fact that haunted me in later years as much as the inevitable heartbreak that came when she could no longer cope with how I was. The manipulation cycle was internalizing as well. I was manipulating everything, including all of my ego-driven beliefs, habits, and perceptions. The final part in this play was to manipulate how I was expressing love. It became totally conditional. Much of this was done through the use of cruelty. I then went through a small cycle of manipulative relationships, where the fear of further pain fueled my invention of new ways of controlling others. I found and fell for my then wife, who was with me through 24 years of marriage, and we had 3 children together. I was still heartbroken from the original changes at 7, and all of the subsequent degradations of my ability to love openly and with integrity. The natural consequence of this was sadness, longing, and a lack of connection, and all of this was buried. The self-destruction based on internal lies led eventually to depression, and then the pattern of manipulation turned another cycle so that I created from thin air an impossible situation for my wife. This then ensured that the broken heart could express itself fully. So fast forward to today, where I'm working daily to help people with their experiences with broken hearts. The full resolution within me is a work in progress, which I practice daily in my new relationship. The good news is enormous steps have already been taken. All of the deep patterns have needed to be explored and repaired, each of them on a case-by-case basis. Most importantly was the need to create an entirely new expectation of value and worthiness around relationships. The work we are now doing in the Love Program is highly informed by not only the story of my own suffering, but also the deep insight I have gained into the suffering of others. I've been steadily developing techniques which continue to help me and others to avoid manipulation, especially as this relates to wives or partners and families. This all leads to wisdom on how to allow love to flower within existing relationships, and to help clients create deep conditions that encourage love to find them. The final part in this is to recognize that a broken heart is always a choice. I choose daily to have a whole heart. I hope you will too. Thank you.